Aloha, welcome back to the negotiation table. My name is Wincy Hong. I'm the communications specialist here at HGEA. And with us today, we have a very good friend of HGEA, Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke. Aloha.
Aloha, Wency, and thank you to everyone who is watching this podcast. I always feel this special place in my heart for HGA because we had a long relationship and a really great relationship, and anytime I can help out HGA and its membership, I'm right there.
Oh, well, thank you so much for making time in your very busy schedule, I'm sure, and coming to talk with us today. Before we dive into this month's conversation, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you never miss content like this. All right, so let's dive in. So with this year's legislative session now in the rearview mirror and election campaigns ramping up, we thought we'd spend this episode of the negotiation table unpacking the actions of lawmakers over the past few months and previewing the upcoming political action season. So our guest is hardly a stranger to these topics. So Lieutenant Governor Luke served many years in the state legislature, and she's been on the forefront of labor rights, early childhood education, and women in the workplace. So, wow. So let's jump in and let's start with this past legislative session. Obviously, the Maui wildfires played a very prominent role in this year's session, but lawmakers were still able to prioritize a few measures that would affect labor and public employees, such as a bill that would allow public sector unions to proceed to arbitration for the repricing of positions. So what labor-related bills were you paying attention to? And were there any bills that public workers should be pleased passed?
And, the repricing bill was very important because over the years, one of the things as finance chair, we took a look at how many vacancies there are within the state. So for instance, Department of Agriculture, out of 300 positions, about 100 positions remain vacant every year. And one of the things that we continue to tell the department is that if there are certain positions that you cannot fill because you're just having a hard time getting people to apply, then we need to try to see if we can reprice or we can reclassify to have quality individuals who are qualified to take on those positions, because it doesn't help anyone when there are significant amount of vacancies. It's really important for the executive branch, especially DHERD, to run with it. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to work with DHERD and try to have positive changes to help our workforce.
So temporary hazard pay for public workers was also a very big topic, especially on the budget side of things. So some of our members may not be aware that you were working closely with Governor Green to reach a settlement deal with HGEA for temporary hazard pay. So why was it important for the governor to reach this settlement this session? And what are your thoughts on how this issue unfolded?
We as a state pretty much told the entire state that we're going to shut down for the safety and for the protection of the public. But at the same time, we told our essential workers, no, it's not the same for you. You still got to go back to work. During the height of COVID, hundreds of HGA employees volunteered their time to be at the convention center to process significant amount of unemployment claims. And I was one of them alongside with many of the HGA volunteers. So it is only right that we take a look at providing that benefit. In this year, we're very fortunate that I was able to work with not just Lewis, BNF, DHERD, AG's office to ensure that we come out with some kind of a package that will be at least fair to the majority of the members at HGA. But I was afraid that if we don't come to an agreement this year, in light of what was going on with Maui wildfires, in light of all the different obligations and as we go into a new cycle of collective bargaining negotiation, that I did not want HGA members to lose that opportunity to get something, or at least something for the the work that they provided during COVID. And so I'm just happy that, it passed through ratification and we're able to provide for the employees who really deserve to get this benefit because they were right there along with all of us. They were there providing the essential services. So, this is just a small token of us saying mahalo to the essential workers who were made to work when the rest of the state did not have to.
Bills dealing with childcare and pre-kindergarten were also on the docket this session. You've been hard at work on your Ready Keiki preschool initiative, which has an ambitious goal of 100% enrollment by 2032. So can you tell us where this initiative stands at the moment and what actions, if any, the legislature took this year to move this goal forward?
In 1989, the state passed a law saying that all preschool age kids will have an opportunity by year 2000 to go to preschool. And so when I decided to run for lieutenant governor, that was one of the things I committed to ensuring that it happens. One of the things that we launched last year is this Ready Keiki initiative. And the Ready Keiki initiative is to fulfill that goal way back from 1989, where we provided access to all 3 and 4-year-olds the opportunity to go to preschool. Within basically 8 months, we were able to open 13 classrooms. And so we were just kind of honored and surprised that we were able to do it very quickly. But 13 classrooms is equivalent to about, like 250 kids that we were able to take care of. This year, we are on track to open 44 classrooms and 44 classrooms around the state from, Nanakuli all the way to Kauai, and there are several on the Big Island. And then we're also opening one in West Maui in August this coming year, in 2024. So we're very excited about the aggressive schedule that we have undertaken. The Ready Keiki initiative has been so successful that we were able to build these classrooms way ahead of schedule. But the thing that I really like is the fact that building out these classrooms have come in at half the cost and sometimes even quarter of the cost of the estimated amount. Providing childcare service and preschool service is so important for our working families because even you hear about a lot of single moms who have kids in preschool, and preschools are here costing about $1,200 a month. And $1,200 to $1,500 a month is equivalent to somebody's rent. And you already are struggling, if you have like a $50,000 job. How do you afford rent, transportation, food, and then childcare at the same time? Living in Hawaii is hard. Cost of living is so high. We always hear about individuals who are moving to Vegas, or now they're moving to, even like Oregon or Texas, just because they cannot afford to buy a house, they cannot afford to, just make a living in the state of Hawaii. Any opportunity that we have to give that break to our hardworking families is just kind of a small way for the state government to help support our working folks so that people can stay and live here. And housing is one thing, but childcare expenses is so expensive. And we want our working mothers and working family to be able to thrive in the state of Hawaii. And if we provide free preschool service so that they can go back to work, but it's also helping that child as well. A lot of times, the unfortunate thing is in the kids who come into kindergarten, if they haven't gone to preschool, some of them are mislabeled as SPED or with ADHD, only because they cannot sit still for instruction. And kindergarten, a lot of times now, the reality is kids are expected to come in and ready to learn. And I can't imagine, just because your parents couldn't afford to send you to preschool, I can't imagine a situation where, we are penalizing a child just because your family just didn't have the finances to send you to preschool, and we're trying to level that playing field so that every child has the same opportunity as anybody else whose parents could afford to send their kids to preschool.
Right.
It's something that we feel so fulfilled by tackling, and the fact that we continue to make progress in it is just, this is something, this is a dream for me. I mean, in this office as lieutenant governor, to be able to do these work and work with the legislature, work with our executive branch to fulfill some of these goals. It just kind of, I'm just so humbled by it.
Mm-hmm. It definitely goes into so many different aspects of like our future workforce, our current workforce. So yeah, thank you for leading this initiative. In terms of politics here in Hawaii, we have one of the lowest voter turnout rates in the country. And while labor union members are possibly more involved in politics than the average Hawaii resident, many voters still struggle to feel like their vote matters. So how do we turn this around?
I was in a very contested race, and I had a super PAC that came and did a negative attack on me. The super PAC spent basically $3 to $4 million to not just support another candidate, but also to attack my credibility. And if it wasn't for the HGA membership, I don't think I would have won. And because of the great work by HGA and your volunteers and all your employees, because they've been engaged before, it was kind of an easy step for them to engage in my race. And I when I take a look at my race just a year and a half ago, I can't thank HGA and the membership for what happened. But that's the power of voting, because when I first entered the race, I am humbled, and I continue to remind myself that I was polling 4 out of 4 candidates, and that's how, in a way, kind of shame, right? HGA definitely should own my race, because they were pivotal in what happened, and if they can do that to bring somebody from polling 4th and at 3% to winning by, we ended up winning by like 8 or 9%, which is huge. Even if we think that Hawaii is labor friendly, it still comes with a range, right? So as an example, just during COVID, we were faced with a $3 billion deficit. And so one of the things that some people were looking at was, okay, can we do cost savings through furloughs or layoffs or other type of things that impact the workforce? And one of the things that I, along with many others, did right away is think of alternative ways to furloughs and layoffs. That was not something that happened under a Republican administration. That just happened a few years ago because people looked at that as an easy solution, and it took people like myself and Scott Saiki and Ron Kochi and others to say, no, you know what, furlough is out of the question. Once people think, hey, you know what, they're furloughing people get a little bit scared about their own stability, and they don't spend money, and they start saving, and it doesn't go back into the economy. So we said, okay, based on the 2008-2009 experience in this situation, if you want the state to recover very quickly, the last thing you should be doing is thinking about furloughs and layoffs. And then that's what we were able to do back then to prevent that. It's always important for labor voices to continue to be heard. And it's important for people who understand the vital nature and essential nature of public sector workers, what they do within the state, and how they should be treated with dignity and with what we are trying to do, which is providing service so that everybody else in the state can benefit.
That's about all the time we have for today. But before we go, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our members?
Recently, I had a visit with the retiree group in Hilo, and I had such a great time with them, and we surprised them. Michelle Kuriara and I showed them that we care, and we wanted to be thankful for everything that they laid before us, because it's the retirees and the kupuna who lay the groundwork for some of the benefits that we have. We are serving the public, and that includes HGA membership, that includes our neighbors, that includes people in the community. So that's why, the fun part of my job is to go out and continue to talk to people and continue to meet people, and every time I see somebody, and just come and say hi.
Join the conversation in the comments. Let us know what actions at the legislature caught your attention, and are you planning on getting involved this political season? For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We can't wait to see you all back here at the negotiation table next month. For now, thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Liu, for joining us, and we will see you all next month. Bye-bye.